We're done with that show. You still continue to stay busy because, as you stated, we're 1 week away from Superfly, 2 weeks away from Canelo versus Triple G. Your thoughts on just how that media week will go and how hectic it's been so far?
We're winding down. We had the great turnout. We had over 4,000 fans for Triple G and Canelo at the Bank of California Stadium, beautiful soccer stadium over there by USC. There were more Triple G fans at that open workout. For anyone keeping track, I think Triple G's popularity really has grown. This is 6 years since he was on his first fight, almost to the day. As of yesterday, 6 years since he made his HBO debut, and now he's in the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. People respect him. They appreciate his style in the ring. They respect his character outside the ring, and they just like to see the action and the excitement that he brings. And now we're in the final week, literally, of training camp. It's clear that both sides don't like each other. Triple G's been very critical of Canelo's suspension. Canelo took exception to that, and he's fired back at Triple G. So right now, the fans, the media, everyone can tell these guys don't like each other. Canelo's predicting a knockout. To knock out Triple G, you got to be a lot more aggressive. You got to fight more aggressively. Triple G doesn't want to leave this in the judges' hands. We all thought that he won the first fight, but this time he doesn't want to take any chances with the judges, and he's going to be even more aggressive than he was the first time.
Given the world we live in now, with social media being so big and just all information being available as quickly as it is, there was a glove situation that was brought up, and it kind of went under the rug, but many people know about it and haven't really spoken up about it. Can you clear up what the situation was with the gloves?
It's not our decision. We weren't really vocal on it. If Canelo wants to wear, whatever gloves he's looking at, that was from my understanding, is that his trainer developed gloves specifically for Canelo, and that they wanted to use it in this fight. The commission had an issue with it. Apparently they were approved in Nevada, but the commission made the decision not to approve them for this fight because those gloves have never been used in a fight before. Abel Sanchez was going to drive up there and look at the gloves. Golden Boy canceled that meeting, so Abel couldn't even look at the gloves. So Abel couldn't protest the gloves if he hadn't even seen the gloves. So I'm not sure how that got out there, that it was from the Triple G side not allowing Canelo to wear those gloves. It was the Nevada Commission's decision not to allow them for this particular fight. If they want to use them in other fights, I think if Canelo wanted to use a new brand of gloves, you would have thought they would have had the foresight of, well, let's use them in other fights and then see how they perform, and then the commission wouldn't have had a reason not to allow them for this fight. But it's pretty, I think it would have been the first time in history in a fight this big that a fighter develops his own gloves and then uses them for the very first time in a fight of this magnitude. So, I don't know how that whole story got spun, but the Triple G side had nothing to do with either approving or disapproving it, because that's not our job. It's the Nevada Commission that approves the gloves, and Triple G is going to use Grant gloves as he has in the past, and there's never been an issue with Triple G's gloves. He's had a lot of knockouts with those gloves, but there's never been an issue with his gloves or his wraps. So, it's up to the commission to decide what they're going to approve.
Since you just mentioned it, the wraps, there's a video that leaked out, which is weird because it's already almost over a year to the date that fight occurred. Why in the world would a video like that even come out a year later?
Well, I think it was to prove, a lot of people said Abel Sanchez was complaining, making a huge issue about something that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's become clear that Nevada allows different layers of taping or stacking of tape and gauze, which isn't allowed in other jurisdictions. What that article, I think it was written by Kevin Ioli, that article was just to point out the inconsistencies of the commission. So apparently Nevada and Texas and Mexico allow wrapping and taping that way. California, New York, Canada, the UK, a lot of other jurisdictions don't allow that at all. In fact, they wouldn't even allow a fighter to get in the ring. So I think that's what Abel's protest originally was, because every other jurisdiction that Triple G has fought, they've never allowed the opponent to wrap that way. That's why Abel was so surprised, and that's why he made such a big protest. The Nevada Commission allowed Canelo to wrap that way. So, if they allow it, it's their jurisdiction, it's their rules. So if they allow it, then they're going to allow Canelo to wrap that way. I think it was just pointing out the inconsistencies. I'm not saying Nevada's right or wrong or California's right or wrong. But I think it's when you have a championship fight like this, you have to have universal rules. You shouldn't be able to wrap one way in New York and then another way in Texas, for example. You saw Liam Smith. It's not the only time there was a dispute over Canelo's wraps. If you look at the video over the Liam Smith fight, they were protesting. It was all an identical situation to Abel Sanchez's protest. Liam Smith's representatives from the UK were vehemently opposed to stacking the wraps the way it was done in Texas. The Texas representative said it was allowed that way. That was the way they interpreted the rules. But you know, it's not the first time there's been controversy over Canelo's wraps, and I think that was what that article was trying to point out. And you know, at this point, you know, we've moved past the gloves, the wraps. We just hope that there's not going to be any controversy leading into fight week. That's why I've been in very close contact with Eric Gomez, with the Nevada Athletic Commission. You know, the last thing a promotion like this wants, any involvement on any participant in this promotion, is to have controversy like we had last time over the scoring. So, you know, as a promoter, I don't want to have that. We want to have, and Eric said the same thing, we want to have the focus in the ring on the fighters. We don't want to have the controversy, you know, leading up to the fight. And this is such a great fight, such a great promotion that, you know, we want the focus to be what Triple G does in the ring, what Canelo does in the ring. And, you know, hopefully we come out with, you know, I don't know how we don't have a great fight. With the way these guys don't like each other, I think it's going to be a guarantee to the fans that we have a tremendous fight.
Now, I asked you this on Sunday about the promotion-wise, about them not seeing each other, being around each other. But even with that, the lack of them being face-to-face or even having communication, there's been so much back and forth between
a lot of back and forth,
Oscar, Eddie and Chepo, Canelo himself. And now he's been somewhat the quieter one. He said what he said, and that's it. He hasn't really repeated himself.
Look, he just answers questions. When someone asks him his opinion, then he gives his opinion. You know, I think he's entitled to be frustrated, to be disappointed with what happened. I mean, it was a huge loss, not only for Triple G, but for the sport of boxing, and for the fans. Everyone that booked their tickets to fly into Vegas, all their hotel rooms for Cinco de Mayo, you know, they were very upset. And you know, it wasn't Triple G's fault why that fight got canceled.
What do you expect when they finally ultimately see each other eye to eye, face to face?
That one's hard to say. As much as they don't like each other now, but I know what's going to happen in the ring. There's going to be a lot of fireworks. If Canelo's predicting a KO and Triple G saying he's not going to leave it to the judges, I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks on September 15th. Not only in the main event, but we got a great undercard. You know, Golden Boy put on Spike O'Sullivan and David Lemieux. Munguia is on. He was actually being discussed as one of the replacement opponents when Canelo was suspended. He's going to be fighting Brandon Cook, and the fans are looking forward to Chocolatito making his comeback. I mean, everyone wants to see Chocolatito back in the ring, and he's going to be fighting Moises Fuentes from Mexico. So it'll be an exciting fight night on September 15th.
Let the fans know where they can see that fight, how they can see that fight, and just as you stated already, what to expect on September 15th.
It's a great 2 weeks of boxing right now. We're going to have September 8th, Superfly, triple header on HBO. The doors open at the Forum, 4 o'clock. Then leading up to the Triple G fight week, we're going to have a grand arrival on Tuesday at the MGM. That's the host hotel, MGM Resorts. We really appreciate their support of this event. Tecate is the lead sponsor of the event, and we'll have the grand arrival on Tuesday. We'll have the press conference on Wednesday, and then open to the public. The grand arrival is open to the public, and the weigh-in at the T-Mobile Arena will be on Friday. That'll be open to the public. So we're looking forward to a great fight week. And again, I think there's not a lot of guarantees in boxing, but I think this matchup between Triple G and Canelo is going to be a great fight night.
Thank you for your time, Tom.
Good. Thank you.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else.